Hello, welcome back. All right, so today's a switch up. We're starting some new stuff. We have moved from the elements of design to now the principles of design. And how is this different? Well, the elements, the way to think about it, the elements are like visual pieces in the design. You can put a piece of line in. That's a really bad way to say it, but like you can put lines in. It's elements. I can point at that and say it's a line. I can point at a shape. I can point at a form. Like all those items are kind of describable and pointable and be like, oh, see how the space works in this piece. So all of those are elements that we arrange in the design to make it look like we want to. Now the principles talk more about the arrangement of those elements within the design. So we're starting off with the easy one. It's balance. Now a design can be balanced or unbalanced, and that can be good and bad for many reasons on either one. But it's the arrangement of all of the elements within that piece that creates that balance or imbalance that we see when we look at graphic design. And we use that to our advantage or our disadvantage throughout the piece. Now we will get started in 1 second. I'll show you the other stuff. I do have to say I just sent a message. The layout video lecture didn't post, and I just found out about it a couple minutes ago. Whenever something doesn't post, just reach out to me and be like, there's no video. Is there one? I always have a video, and sometimes it just doesn't register, but doesn't post correctly. Whatever. So today we're going to work on the balance lecture. I have a little lecture on serif and sans serif typography that will be used for the project. And then we're going to start on your first big project. We're going to alternate. We're going to work on, like, the poster is going to be introduced on Tuesday. The artist sheet pamphlet will be introduced on Thursday, and then it'll be Tuesday, Thursday till the end of the semester. So it'll be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So with that said, let's get going and jump in and find out about balance. All right. All right. Balance. It's how we feel about the things on the page overall. And there's balance and there's imbalance, or asymmetrical balance and symmetrical balance. And let's talk about that. They're fairly easy. So symmetrical balance, the best way is all we're talking about is, for the simplest terms, and I'll show you in the poster, the first poster, is right away. If this is my poster and I cut it down the middle and I put like a circle here and I put a circle here and I put a square here and put a square here and a triangle here and a triangle here, this is a balanced composition in more than one way, or symmetrical. Everything from one side is the same on the other side. We can, you could even say, like, going down, it's in pairs of two. So we have 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1. So a lot of ways to describe this symmetrical balance. It's a mirror image. It's butterfly wings. It's, you do that kid drawing thing where you get a piece of paper and then you're going to fold it in half, but you squirt all the paint over here and then you fold it in half. And then you open it and it looks, it's the mirrored image. That's a balance. That's the simplest way. It's symmetrical balance. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the one we jump to right away as designers. Oh, it's comforting. It's normal. Not like normal is the worst word for that. It's comforting. Everything's in the middle. Like, we like to do a lot of this where, like, it's beginning designers. We have a title, and then we just put everything right down the middle. And we're like, that's nice because it's nice and even and it's symmetrical on both sides. That's good. It's so good. It's good. It works, right? It works for what we need it to work. Asymmetrical balance. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is, you can do so much more and have a more engaging piece, a livelier piece when you deal with asymmetrical design. And asymmetrical is simply, we'll get our little composition going, is like, I'm going to put a circle here, a triangle here, and a square here, you know, and then that's it. Or we offset it. So if we're going to do, let's do the 2, 2, and 2. I'm going to have one big circle here and a little one here and a triangle. But this triangle is going to be pointed down, and then square, and then I'm going to have a square here. So overall, if we were to look at like this piece or this piece, like this is like, oh, beep, 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 it's all the same. It's all, this kind of starts to invoke like a work of art. You start looking at it differently. And it's because it's asymmetrical balance. It still works as a piece, but it's far more interesting than just doing straight down the middle. One side is equal to the other side robotically. Here, we're thinking about it, and our eye moves around, and we're wondering like, oh, this is going off the page. Wonder how much bigger it is. Like, so many different things can happen, and that's what we do with asymmetrical balance. It changes the way we visually look at things. You can do it like there's this good example right here for large on one side, small on the other. So like that would be, what if we were doing, oops, I switched out my, all right. So if we had this and I had like a big image over here, let's say it's an image, and then I just had some bullet pointed text. And we'll see a picture like, we'll see something like that, where it's image heavy on one side, but there's no image on the other, and it just has a little couple bullet points. And that's asymmetrical balance, but it like draws the eye in here, and then we read across, and we're not interrupted. And it's not like we just out, perfectly, it's split in half, but the weight is different. So that's, there's a ton of ways of achieving asymmetrical balance, which I would say like for symmetrical balance, it's like fairly easy. It's, you do it on one area, do it on the other, easy peasy. Symmetrical balance works great in a ton of situations, not knocking it. Asymmetrical balance is just far more entertaining, far more engaging to look at. And then you have radial balance. Well, we do a lot of pieces these days, or we're getting it to more and more that say it goes out from a point. And even on a poster, I drew that the wrong way. Even like on a poster, which we will see, we can have a centralized point and then parts radiate off of it, it said, or when we divide it, it's kind of what's here is here, what's here is here. And it's called radial balance because it has almost like a central point and things go off the center of that. I have examples of that coming up. It's a pretty cool one, not used as much just because you kind of do need this radius kind of feeling or a circle in the middle. And so like it becomes more of a direct design thought, like you go into it being like, okay, I'm going to start with this circle. And as you can see in our examples, we're going to have something like that. So, oh, good on that. All right. Yeah. Okay, achieving balance in design involves considering various elements. And it's not just the elements. Like, well, it is the elements, but it's not always just the physical ones. Here, color. Where do you put the color? What is the size of things? Like these are all, like we talk about, these are all the elements of the design that we can use and placement in the design to help balance or asymmetrical balance or radial balance to get this to look right. Again, with some of these, I can't say that you necessarily you don't go into the piece saying to yourself, I'm going to make well, you might say I'm going into making a radial balance piece. But I think what we do as designers and what you're going to do this week in your project is you're going to thumbnail, and you're going to have some elements that you have to put in your design. You're like, oh, I want to do this and this and this. And then you start saying like, okay, if I did these three things here, where should I put the corresponding things? And where should I add like the title? And you end up naturally just kind of sketching out, and it becomes, is this balanced, is this unbalanced? And then I'll talk you through how things are looking eventually to get that final design. All right. Key considerations for achieving balance: visual weight. Elements with more visual weight, darker color, larger sizes, like intricate, it takes up more. You know, it's the thing that we look at first. Like that will change the visual. That element is guiding my eye. It's taking up more of my eye time. And then so that may offset how we look at the entire piece. In the end, what we want people to do is look at the entire piece, but we want them to use the visual weight. We want to use this balance to guide people through the piece and make sure they're kind of seeing everything. And we have some cool posters. Oh, I always think of this other one that I use for a different example later in the semester. But we want to also make sure that people see everything. So that visual weight is like, this is important, but I still need to guide your eye to see this, and then guide your eye to see that, and then know that with some confidence that you're reading everything. So we do it like visual weight is like, that's the first thing I want you to see. You know, like we'll make that heavy. Contrast and balancing contrasting elements is light and dark. You know, in my design, is lighter going to stand out more than darker? Because you forget, like if we do a design like here, like on these, white on black sticks out very well, can maybe better than black on white. So we use that contrasting in our piece, or maybe we'll, you know, make a text box and we have it, you know, the text in there is the opposite of what the background is, and then so it sticks out more because we're highlighting it. I hope that makes sense. It's really bad ABC right there. Sorry about that. And then spatial arrangement, the placement of elements and the relation to each other affects the overall balance, of course. And that's just kind of talking about all three of these in general. Let's check out our examples. First one, oh, the great Titanic. I always say this. I don't think I've ever really seen this movie. So right off the bat, how balanced can you get? I got a face on one side. I got a face on the other side. I got half the boat on one side, half the boat on the other side. I got half of the word on one side, half on the other side. This is all broken down. This is just, as simply put, you know, right down the middle. And you can get really philosophical when you look at these designs and stuff, like, oh, see how this is the shaded half and it's the male side. Here's the light and airy half. It's bright, and it's the female side. He's a little bit darker in tone. She's that perfect pale white. Oh, so many ways to go looking at this piece. And then then you have the dark portal holes here and the light portals here. So balanced, just perfectly lamely balanced. I talk about this. This is a piece that harkens back to old travel posters. If you look up travel posters when you're doing some of your assignments, you'll get some good ones on balance. So easily balanced because they'll do a train coming at you. So they don't do a lot of it, but there are enough out there, like the train speeding toward you and Travel America or whatever it may be. That's how we come across to that. Here's one. Let me see if I can pull it in the center of the page for us. It's a walk down of balance. Sorry, I gotta make sure I'm on the right. It's a walk down of balance. And what does that mean? So balance isn't always 2 for 2. All right. You know, it isn't one side or the other. Here I have a very symmetrical balance, but it's broken out into 3s. And that's the importance of this one. So we start and it's perfectly symmetrical as we see the website. And it still stays symmetrical as we have 1, 2, and 3. And if I were to fold this in half, this side is this side. You know what I mean? So it's folded in half. It's perfectly symmetrical, even though it is in thirds. It still works. They didn't offset anything. They didn't move like one of the images down here. And then so it works out that like we look at the images and then we're drawn down to what the image is about over time. But again, it's 1, 2, 3 sections, but this is a perfectly symmetrical piece. Do a redo on here. All right. Radial balance. Here we are. We got start in the middle. So there's the contrast, right? We have the opposite right in the middle. Hello. And your eyes go here. And what is this about? Oh, it's about Tabitha and Daniel. All right. Perfectly symmetrical. Then we radiate out kind of like you can go here, the wedding of, like, so it reads across. Then we have the date, the time, where, you know, and then some fun, you know, little extras right there. But this is considered radial balance, and where everything has a part and a place and where it is, like script, you know, like they were really balanced. You know, like date and time are perfectly, they could have done it a ton of different ways, but this is super radial balance, and it's all based on the and because it's a wedding. Wonderful. Asymmetrical balance. This is asymmetrical balance. And this is where it gets a lot of fun. And this is where I think things really start to shine, and they're like a lot of fun is you know, take it down to the point. This white eyeball is like a pointer to here. How to be a wicked witch. And we read that. And we come down here. And then, you know what we do is we come back up. And we follow this tail back up to the start, which kind of brings us to the head of the cat, which then points us back to the beginning here. And so it's asymmetrical, but it keeps us in a loop on the way it was designed. This whole shape coming down and up is meant to keep you looking at this design. I honestly can say, like, if I'm looking at this Titanic, let's delete that. I'm not like, it kind of like, yep, goodbye. You know what I mean? Like, or I may, if you start at the bottom, Titanic, oh, it's starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet. You know, like, oh, great, I'm done. This one, I feel like I circle around it. I look at different parts, like the cat's looking over here. I want to look over here too. Oh, wait, why am I following his tail up? Oh, wait, I started again. You know, like, and it's a wonderfully just offset, asymmetrical, in which we have, you know, the text here, which is much lighter than the dark black cat, which is over here. So super cool stuff we can do. And finally, oh, I love this piece, even though it's asymmetrical in tone and style. 3 different orbs. This orb is pretty much directly in the center, but the way we place things around it makes it feel a little off center. We have this idea, I love working in threes. There's something about working in threes. So we have this orange circle here, and then we have orange here and orange here. Boom, boom. So our eye is like, oh, what's with all the oranges? We know this is reversed out. So University of Cumbria. And then we read like, oh, and then there's text in this one too. All right, those work really well together. I see one, I see the other. And then we can read through all of the art stuff here. Offset with like some lines, like nothing's like splitting anything perfectly. You know, this is the only split where we have here, but this is offset. It's not down the middle of the page, which is right there. You know, if I'm supposed to split that circle in half, it's right there. I love this. Got a little guy poking out down there as well. But like, here's 1, 2, and 3 with these circle images. So these are continued. These are continued. It's all done. It looks symmetrical, but it's actually an asymmetrical balanced design. And to me, far more interesting to look at than, again, my least favorite design to look at, which is this. Because it is what it is. I look at this and I'm done. Here I look at it and I stick around. I want to look at this interesting picture here. I want to know like, oh, wait, that's kind of cool. Is that reversed out like an X-ray? And I'm like, what is this going on down here? Just way more fun and interesting to look at. So that is balance in a nutshell for you all. Now, I'm going to go here. So we went over balance. Your balance assignment, your balance research is the same as normal. Keep it up. Keep doing those great book cover, movie poster, and album cover. Keep digging through history of design when you do it. Go back, type in 1920s. Like, see, you know, like go crazy. Go really old with some of these. See what you find. See what's out there. You know what to do. Things are happening. Balance project. Now for the balance project, this is where you're going to use typography today. You haven't used typography. Now typography is going to be introduced into every one of these projects here and out because you will be designing with typography. So you will be doing 6 compositions. You will be doing 3 balanced compositions and 3 asymmetrical compositions, but you'll be using 2 different types of typography. You will be using serif and sans serif type. Let's open up the assignment and then I'll describe those to you. Come on. All right. The assignment right here. Sans serif is on the top, serif is on the bottom. Balanced is on the top, asymmetrical is on the bottom. Here are my examples. You are to create 3 balanced compositions using these 3 words. 1, 2, 3. You will create 3 asymmetrical compositions using these 3 words. This is asymmetrical. This is balanced. This is sans serif. This is serif. Let's get into that. I'm hating this. Serif or sans serif? That is the question. Now, if you haven't taken typography, this will be new to you. If you have, this is a refresher. Serif. Serif fonts have small lines or strokes. Serifs attach to the ends of the main strokes of the letters. Examples like Times New Roman, Georgia, Garamond are common serif fonts. Serif fonts are often considered more traditional and formal. They are used in print media, books, and long passages of text. Think of an old school typewriter. Open any novel that you have sitting in your house. Any book that you have I have to take that back. It's not any book. If you have a general book in your house that is considered a novel or a storybook, or some sort of novelette, I don't know what they call. It will probably be typeset in serif. Serif font. Sans serif. Sans, French for without. So without serif. So sans serif means that there is no little fancy item at the end of that. There's nothing, these little footers, this little piece, this little ending, like all these little fancy parts are not part of a sans serif font. As you can see, it's flat. There's no, we're not adding on a little, foot onto these or anything. It is what it is, kind of. So it's sans the serif. It's without the serif. And this is the world's most popular font. Helvetica, Arial, and Calibri are very popular sans serif fonts. Arial, I think, is installed on most computers. Helvetica, you probably have to purchase or get a bootleg. Sans serif fonts are perceived as modern, clean, and easy to read. I hope you watched the movie Helvetica in typography. If you haven't, you can get it on YouTube. It is well worth watching. It is a documentary called Helvetica. Super cool. It will show you how popular this is, where you see it, and then you'll be like, I can't unsee it. It's everywhere. So it's really great. Just like look it up on YouTube, Helvetica, the documentary. I think it's free. So check it out. But that is the difference. So when you do your assignment, you use a sans serif font and a serif font to create your compositions. And these balance one sans serif, it says exactly what to do. So don't mess that up. So it's to give you some type. And the type is just, you can type your artwork here and you type this, and you can use it exactly like any shape. When I size it, I hold down Shift. You can pick from fonts up here. You can set up filters like properties, bold. Look at that, bold, sans serif. So that's what this is. If you hold over it, I think it'll eventually say sans serif, or it says here, I'm filtering sans serif heavyweight fonts. I can do that now there. That's perfect. If I want to do the serif font, let's type in this again. And to make it easy on myself when I'm using Illustrator is I can go to character again, change my filters. This has a sans serif. And then maybe I want it medium, regular weight. So now it's filtering serif regular weight fonts. And so I can pick whatever I want. There, this, Baskerville. That's perfect. Look at that. And then you do your compositions. But that's a quick way to do that. So have some fun there. All right. Next, and not least, the poster. Research and thumbnails. You will be creating, by the end of this class, a poster for a music festival of your choice. The music festival can exist now, or it could have existed in the past. Woodstock. A lot of people ask if they can do a past. Yes, you can. But everything needs to be included in this. So basically, your favorite type of music, figure out what that is and find out a festival for it. That makes it more interesting. Or if you have what's your favorite thing to look at, what's your favorite music style? All right. Then what we need to do is we need to gather the assets in order to create a poster. And then we need to create 6 thumbnail sketches of the music festival poster for this. Don't worry. It's not as hard as you think. So I'm going to show you, I have a Project A template in here. You can take a look, and this is just it. This is kind of how you should lay it out. Project A, your name of the class, Project A Part 1, research and thumbnails. You have a research page. It's the music festival title, the music festival logo, 3 music festival pictures, but I'm going to dig into that more. I'm going to I'm going to show you a student example and show you this is what you need, and it's included in this list here. And I'm going to show you how to do it and then talk about thumbnails. Keep opening the same one. All right. This student chose Rockfest. So the title, Rockfest, who they are, it's all on this first page. This is the logo for Rockfest. Now, when you look up the logo, you're going to make sure you have a high enough res logo. So if I look Rockfest logo, I will start to get some stuff. I'm going to click on images, but then I'm going to go to tools, size, enlarge. And I'm going to make sure that the Rockfest logo that I pick is correct and not just some bogus logo. But I'm going to make sure I pick the right one and that it is high enough res. It's got over 1,000 pixels. This will look nice on my piece. It won't be too low res. And then you can see examples of the other ones. So first thing, we need the logo. Second one, a minimum of 3 images from the music festival. Look up your music festival and just click on image. So if I put in Rockfest, let's put in 2024 music festival images, and I go to images, I'm going to find them. They're all over the place. Dig around. Look on their website. That's a great place to go. You know, like actually go to the website of the Rockfest or whatever concert festival that you choose. Go to their website. You'll find plenty of pictures. We need information about it. This poster is going to include, this poster is for people who've never heard about this festival in their life before. So we need to include a little paragraph about it. So when I'm walking down the street, downtown Milwaukee, and I see a poster for Rockfest, I'm like, what's Rockfest? And I can read about it instead of assuming that I know what it is. What do? You go to their website. Fest. Rockfest. All right. Lineup, tickets, about. Oh, look, about. History. There you go. Click on that, and here we go. Rockfest. I take that. That's my about paragraph. All right. Next up, headliners. I want 3 headliners from the concert. 1, 2, and 3. You will find the headliners on their website again. You know, like look in the past. Who were past headliners? And look at all these images. You know, like a lot of these sites have all the information you need. So 3 headliners. We need to know the dates. And then you're going to give us sketches. And the sketches should be accurate to the size. And you should have some extra information to help describe what's going on in your sketch. The sketches need to include every part. Everything that is listed here, these 5 things, all need to be represented in the thumbnail sketch. Now, this is a thumbnail sketch. It shows, it's just written out, but it's giving an idea of where things are going to go on the page. The date, headliner 1, 2, and 3. The logo is going to go here. These with an accent represent photos. Those are the festival photos, and this is the paragraph. From what I can see, everything is included there. Here's one with a guitar. They have logo, headliner 1, 2, and 3. 3 images. They have it integrated in the guitar, into a guitar pick, and one here, about paragraph. And I'm assuming the date is going to go in here as well. Here we got another one with some flames. And these are thumbnail sketches. They are quick. By looking at them, I can see that you know where everything needs to go. And it is the starting point where you show a client, hey, this is what I want to do for you. Do any of these jump out? And me as a client, I can immediately say like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I love the rock hand. Is super great, and I love flames, and I want flames. So these are the 2, you know, like, and that's how this works. You give your client a bunch of different ideas. Now, how do you do this? You can draw this up. piece of paper. Just get a piece of paper. Now your final size is 24 by 36. All right. So you have to think about that when you do this. 24 by 36, very easy. It's 2 by 3 inches. So you can, however you feel fit, you can go somewhere and just be like, I'm going to estimate 2 by 3 inches. So it's 3 down. And then I'm looking at 2 across, 3 down. All right, so that's 2 by 3. It's close enough. I am not doing this. That is not 2 by 3. That's a square. And this is the wrong way. So this is absolutely no. This is absolutely no. This is the right one. And this is where you just say, what do I want? Well, I want my logo to be at the top. I want my date to be at the bottom. I want 3 festival pictures down here. I want the 3 headliners over here. But actually, you know what? I want them in circles. And I'll just put 1, 2, and 3. And then my about paragraph is here. But like, and that's just that. But you're like, then you think about like, what is my festival? And like, do I want like cool, like some graphics, like, I don't know, like it's like emo and it's like slime or something like that, you know, like some cool stuff to break it up. And that's like one sketch. It's got everything in. It's got the logo 1, headliners 2, about paragraph 3, images of the festival 4, and the date 5. 5 things need to be included. They're all visually there. And then I can write about it like green, slime, background, you know, or, you know, like, you know, there's the one when we were young festival, and that would be like, you're going to totally do this. Like, I'm going to have an upper and a lower. It's be checkerboard, you know, and just kind of start filling this stuff in. And just, these should take 5 minutes each. I'm trying to rush them, you know. So then I have my checkerboard. And then, you know, here I'm going to do like the logo is going to be like on its side because it's cool. And then the headline, you know, like I'll do like something like this. And then if you don't like it, then you're just like, no, okay, that doesn't work. I'm going to do another one. So that's the other thing to know. Watch this. I'm going to go to an eraser. I'm going to make the eraser really big. And I'm just going to erase what I did. Guess what? Who cares? It's only pixels. If you got to draw it again, draw it again. It's a couple minutes. But that's why we do it in thumbnail form. You could knock out like 10, 12 of these. The best part, you know, when you do, sometimes my favorite way to do this is when I'm watching TV. I can sit down then, take some of the pressure off and be like, oh, I got my 1 hour show on. I can listen. I don't have to like, because you know there's the TV shows you watch that you don't have to, you're going to be like, oh, I can just have that on. And then you sit there and you get out your pieces of paper, you get out your sketchbook, and you just start drawing a bit. And you make some, and you're like, oh, what if I do this? And what if I do this? And this is over here, and this is over here. Okay, and then I'll do another one. And what if I try this? And then what you can be like, oh, you know what? I like what is happening in these two. I'm going to make a third one that it combines these two, and that's the one I want to use. So it's not saying like the 6 thumbnails shouldn't take you very long. They should be very kind of relaxing, and you should experiment, experiment with some stuff. Like, oh, we learned about symmetry today. What if I do something like this where it's asymmetrical? And then I learned about symmetry today. So I want to do something that's like really off base, that's asymmetrical. And then I want to do one, like what are the elements like from your concert, like, oh, it's a rock concert. And so you have the big, guitar, or is it a trumpet? Like, oh, I'm doing jazz festival. So I want a trumpet. Good Lord. So that's all you have to do. And again, this isn't precious. If you don't like it, you erase it. Goodbye. Who cares? It's just some pixels. It's not a Picasso. You did not just create a piece that will go in a museum. Nobody cares. Nobody, you got a sketchbook and you did in your sketchbook. You know what? I always tell people? Tear a page out of your sketchbook. Just tear a page out. Ruin the sketchbook so it's no longer as precious to you as you think it is. It's just a place to sketch. It's a sketchbook. So 6 thumbnail sketches that show what the poster is going to be. Any questions, comments, or concerns? I think that's everything. And then your book. And we'll start on the other project on Thursday. So, all right, cool. I'm going to make sure I post as soon as I can today, unlike to make sure it posts and I don't realize it doesn't post. So, all right, cool. Well, that's it for me. Thank you very much. Talk to you again on Thursday. Bye-bye.